Cup final to take on either Newcastle or Manchester City. Arsenal arrive, but from what we've seen in our pictures, there is no sign of Bukayo Saka. Let's get more ahead of this game. Jamie Redknapp is alongside Gary Cottrell.
Otherwise, here at Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, and what a night it's going to be in terms of the football. And if you want to brighten up a bit of a dreary evening, get someone like Jamie here, and of course he's sharing his umbrella as well. Thanks,
Jamie. For you. I can see you out there. I was in a warm studio with Paul Merson, and I thought I've got to get the umbrella for you. Come and say hello.
I've always wanted to get close to you, mate.
Oh, thank you, mate. They've got the long studs on tonight, though. It's a really wet conditions, but in a way that helps. It acts for the, if you're a neutral watching this game today, it's going to be great value because it's going to be fast, ferocious. The crowd, obviously, it's been a little bit difficult last few home games. They had a big result against Leeds, didn't they, Arsenal? But they'll really want to get across the line tonight.
Arsenal, best team in Europe, according to the Champions League positions, best team in England, according to the Premier League positions. But this is going to be important to them tonight because to get the first bit of silverware is so crucial, isn't it, to kick on for the rest of the season?
Absolutely, and you want to get to that final as well. Paul Merson was telling me they've not won it for many, many years. Like the last time they won it, he was playing, so a long time ago. So they just want any kind of trophy, and I think that will settle everyone's nerves. I interviewed Declan Rice about a month ago, and he was saying, we understand how big this is, because this can take the pressure off. You've got obviously 6-point gap between Manchester City. They get to this final, could put that one to bed for a month or so. But just then will just take the pressure off, because the connection between the fans and the players is obviously there, but they're getting a little bit anxious when things don't go their way. And I think tonight, if they get that win, it will just calm everyone down a little bit.
No sign of Bukayo Saka getting off the team bus tonight. We expected that because he picked up this hip niggle. I think this game's come a bit too soon for him. But of course, there's strength in depth and quality in depth, isn't there? As Madueke proved at the weekend.
Absolutely. He wasn't going to start the game. He comes on, gets an assist, gets a goal. That's what you want from your players. So I wouldn't. It's hard to guess sometimes what Mikel Arteta would do. But my guess is obviously he'll play on that right-hand side and fill that void. And then it'll just be what he does with the rest of the team. Obviously, Marino's out, which is a blow for them because he obviously offers a lot in that midfield. In terms of Odegaard, will he start? Will he maybe go with Eze, who's not had a lot of minutes lately? I think one thing for sure is whatever sides we see will be the sides that both Arsenal and Chelsea believe is their best 11. I think he's made the mistake, Liam Rosenior, a couple of times of playing and thinking my squad's really good and the depth is there. It isn't quite there as much as he'd like, and we saw that the weekend, certainly against that West Ham side.
And what a night for Liam Rosenior in a time for him when big nights are coming thick and fast. His first away Champions League game, going to a really hostile away stadium. They cope with that. But this is an even bigger game than that, isn't it? It's his biggest game as a head coach.
Yes, it is. And it was a difficult one, the first leg, because they had a couple of illnesses just before the game. Liam Delap was going to start. He couldn't. And then they had to sort of bring a couple of younger players in, trying to help the team. And it didn't work out on that occasion. But I think they're starting to find a bit of confidence. With players like Cole Palmer probably starting tonight. I know he played the weekend. Reece James will probably start as well. So you start to see what his best side is. And his best side can certainly cause teams problems. And they'll work on the fact of let's keep it tight. It doesn't matter if it's 0-0, 85 minutes. You can get one goal and all of a sudden you can go to extra time penalties. It will go extra time tonight, won't it?
Extra time and then penalties.
OK, so that's good news. Thank you for informing me on that. I should know that. But no, it's got the makings of a really good tie. I don't think even if Arsenal score, they can still stay calm. Chelsea, this is going to be a long 90 minutes and a very exciting one at that.
Yeah, they've got to come back from 3-2, of course. Thanks, Jamie. They proved they can come back, didn't they, at the weekend, Chelsea? If it does go to extra time and penalties, at least you might be dry by then.
Well, do you know what I'm going to do? Because we've got the Sky Sports umbrella here, I'm going to leave it with you as a present, as long as you promise to walk me over there into the dry.
I will do.
Deal.
He's part of the big main attraction on, of course, Sky Sports main event.
The former Spurs and Republic of Ireland defender Stephen Kelly is with us. Dave Reed is here, as always. Let's talk about Mikel Arteta and Arsenal first then. Stephen, you rolled your eyes there as if to say, let's not start with this pursuit of the quad as a former Spurs defender. He talks about the physical toll on his players. How big a balance is it between that and the mental expectation on Arsenal at the moment?
Maybe the mental might be more so, I think, for Arsenal, just on the back of what's come beforehand. they were in the ascendancy. They were winning the league before, and they've dropped away. But as a Spurs player and as a Spurs fan, you watch that and you see those 4 trophies. You think, it's actually potentially could be there. I think with them physically, the players that have come back to fitness of late, the players that have come back in the squad, you feel like they're just getting in a really good place. And some of those lads haven't played a lot of football up to this point, and you kind of feel they're just getting ready at the right time to be able to push on and kick on for those final latter stages of the season. So, their squad depth is brilliant. You look at the bench the weekend, Odegaard, Martinelli, like Calafiore, Saka was missing as well. They've got some wonderful players that they never seem to drop off in their intensity when they replace the players. So, again, it's a tough watch for a Spurs fan, but it wouldn't surprise me if they come away with at least 50% of those.
You feel like they answered some of those questions that were being raised, particularly after the result against Manchester United, the game against Leeds. There was a lot of scrutiny on that, a lot of focus, and they simply blew Leeds away, essentially. And you were right about the squad depth. They used all of that, particularly in the second half. And when you talk about mental fatigue, potentially, this is the time of the season where it's big game after big game. We're talking about crucial games in the Premier League here at Ellen Road. We're talking about semi-finals of the Cup. We're getting towards latter stages of the Champions League. This is when potentially week after week there are games that have a huge bearing on the outcome of your season. So is this the time now where players have to really look after themselves in that mental space?
Yeah, they just have to dig deep, but also there's got to be such a hunger within that group to want to go and succeed now. They've come so close, on so many occasions, and you feel that they've got to feel this is their time. They have to believe that within that group. That win the weekend does seem quite poignant. I don't know what it is. It just feels like going to Ellen Road and being so convincing, and they've been able to rotate those players. Saka missing out earlier, like the fact you lost him and that didn't affect you, I think just goes to show what position those players are coming in. And I think if you have a position where players can come in and hit the ground running straight away in those instances like Madueke, there was no sense of him feeling, I'm only starting because Saka's not here. He came in and absolutely grabbed that opportunity, and that's what you want. You want to have players that are keen to prove and keen to progress, and they know that end goal is trophies, and that's what every player wants in their career, trophies, and they're in touching distance of it.
Let's expand then on someone you mentioned there, Noni Madueke, who essentially got the call to start 20 minutes before kick-off, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans have been excited by Madueke. Yeah, maybe there's question marks over his end product, but given the fact that maybe Saka hasn't hit the heights that you think of, it's an ideal one-in, one-out situation when you've got someone like Noni Madueke, and these are his carries into the opposition penalty box per 90 minutes. Only Jeremy Doku has more of those, and he's ahead of some great names on that list as well, including a player that could be on the opposition side for Chelsea, Estevao. So he's been a brilliant, and also Saka's on that list as well, but he did fantastically well coming into the team at Ellen Road.
Chelsea is an interesting one, isn't it? The manner of that comeback against West Ham. You can look at it in different ways and say that's a big tick in the box tactically for Liam Rossini to turn it round with the changes that he made. The counter argument would be, if you play like that for 45 minutes against Arsenal tonight, already a goal down in the tie, that could be it by the time you get to half-time.
Yeah, you'll get punished, won't you, by Arsenal? You feel like a West Ham side whose confidence is not that high. If you start to show signs of being able to turn that fixture over, their mental resilience is at that point where they could go. So you feel like Chelsea could get back into that. This Arsenal side can put you to bed. They have that back four, midfield, know how to shut games out. So, if you go behind early against these, they'll see that game through. And you feel, like I said, the players they can bring off the bench to push that into the latter stages. It was a close match in the first leg. I think Chelsea did well. 2 goals from Garnacho has put them in a position where they're still in this tie. But you feel Arsenal's strength and depth at the moment and the confidence they would have got for that weekend. And listen, finishing top of the group in the Champions League, winning every game is pretty high stakes, So to be able in that position means that they go into this absolute favourites for me.